they're taking away from the real cause. Like, the real issue is what's going on in Palestine. The real issue isn't a Kneecap.
They're not here trying to incite violence. They're trying to shed light on what the is going on in Palestine. There's bullets being made an hour away from here. No one's even looking at that.
Why are we holding a rap group to a higher regard than, a democratically elected government?
Mate, they're sticking up for what's right and they're fucking getting criticised for it. It's stupid.
Yeah. Everyone I've spoken to that see a Kneecap is like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? And I not to give my own personal opinion, but I do think that it's very silly what he's been charged for. I think that a lot of it is just, innocent until proven Irish is the big thing. I think the British government have a big, they've got some prejudice against Kneecap, and for some things I do understand, but also they're making music, they're artists, everyone's talking about freedom of speech, artistic license, and I think they should be given the same graces that a lot of these, these far right groups have been given.
I mean, I've loved them for ages and I respect them for speaking up about everything and using their platform for good. So what's the current controversies are fuel for the fire, in my opinion. It only increases my love for them. They haven't backed down, they keep standing by their guns. They're not trying to step back now at this point. They're sticking to it. They know they're right, what they're saying is right, and I really respect them for it. So
what they're getting done for is just diabolical. They're here trying to spread the word and they're getting shut down because of some Hamas shit that happened back in the day. But mate, at the end of the day, they're spreading the word. They're trying to shed light on what the fuck is going on over there, and they're trying to get shut down for it. Fucking Sharon Osbourne, she's up there. Her husband's fucking Ozzy Osbourne, man. Yeah. War Pigs. Yeah. What's she on about, man?
Nah, she needs to stick to judging. Fuck off. Honestly, mate, they're sticking up for what's right and they're fucking getting criticised for it. It's stupid.
Yeah. Most fans of Kneecap are kind of in agreement that it might just be a bit, it's an attempt to silence, it's an attempt to silence them in that, why are we holding a rap group to a higher regard than, a democratically elected government? Why should Kneecap face these, this backlash versus, the British government not doing the same or speaking out in the same way against the Israeli government and stuff like that. So I think that's probably echoing what a lot of Kneecap fans would think.
They're nitpicking the shit they can make him a target for, and they're talking about anti-terrorism fucking squads, everything like that, watching after them, and it's for what, man? They're not here trying to incite violence. They're trying to shed fucking light on what the fuck is going on in Palestine, which is what it should be. There's bullets being made fucking an hour away from here. Do you know what I mean? And no one's even looking at that.
Because they had issues, I know from watching the movie, I saw in the past they had issues with the British government for being a terrorist group because of being pro-IRA or whatever the fuck. But I think now that they've jumped on this other thing, because the initial charge that Kemi Badenoch took away from them for their artist grant was for being anti-British, or I think so, don't quote me on that.
You're right.
But so they already had an issue with them, and now with everything else, because and I think Ireland as a country, we're so strongly pro-Palestine. We want that because we've experienced the same, not the same, but we've experienced a famine, we've experienced oppression, and the fucking 800 years of it. And I think we're very much the first country to come forward and speak out about anything, about most injustice, and anything that's wrong going on in the world.
You can't call yourself a fan of Kneecap, whose music has always been politically charged about the Republic of Ireland, the freedom of Ireland. If you agree with that message but don't agree with the Palestine message, you're doing something wrong. It's very hypocritical of you. So I definitely think if there's not enough uproar, there should be more uproar about Kneecap being charged right now.
Yeah. How does it speak to you as a fan of Kneecap? Well, I love the fucking music. Hate everyone that seems to dislike them, and third of all, they're fucking standing up for the right thing in Palestine. That's fucking unreal.
The word,
and also
the Irish language as well. At the same time, it's I moved around. I bounced back and forth between Ireland. I never really fully learned Irish because there was never a time that we, as a family, we could say in Ireland. I moved out there during the recession. There was and between that, it was just bouncing back and forth. But I tell you what, as I got older, it made me a lot more patriotic, and I'm a lot more Irish music, a lot more fucking Irish language, and fucking keep it going, man.
How important do you think it is for musicians to kind of use their platform for political messaging and that kind of thing?
I mean, when you go back in time in ancient Ireland, disputes were settled with poetry, where two battling clans would send poets to each other and they'd effectively have a poetry battle, a rap battle to talk about. The arts have always been political. anyone who says otherwise is wrong. So anyone who has a platform and people listening to them should be using it to share their message, you know. And so Kneecap doing it for the better of the people, you know, talking about the people in Palestine who deserve it. And it's unfortunately needs to be shared more than it currently is. I think they did a great job of it. Yeah. Really respect them for it.
They had some government grant, or like, I can't remember what it was.
It was like an artist grant that they got.
Yeah, some artist grant that they revoked and then got given back. And I just think now that that's happened, they've kind of caught wind of this thing, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna make scapegoats, and we're gonna because like they're taking away from the real cause. Like the real issue is what's going on in Palestine. The real issue isn't a Kneecap. Like they're just a group of lads from West Belfast, you know. I really don't think that. And yeah, like I don't know why, it's a really good question why everything's happening now, but I do think there is some kind of trying to cover up some stories at play.
The band have come out and they've said obviously they shouldn't have done that with the Hezbollah flag and stuff like that. I just think it's an easy target to not listen to their apology and to just continue to kind of berate them on it, and to go after the charges on them when, you know, like to go back to the previous point, like it's much easier to attack them than to go and kind of look at a government and say, why are we funding this, etc. So that would be kind of what I think of that.
It's a strong attempt to appease to Trump's America, you know what I mean? Like it's international relations at its finest. It's if we make them criminals, it's easier to deny them visas. It's easier for America to protect themselves from these messages being shared. And I think you know, any attempt by the English government to appease to anyone else is disappointing. I'm not even English, but any attempts to appease America is just a disappointing thing to see, and that's definitely what's happening at the moment as well. So, yeah.
They're out here spreading a positive message. It's inspired. Like we were at an after party in Brixton for a Kneecap party, and we met a Welsh fella in the toilet, and he was like, "That's inspired the Welsh people to speak more Welsh," and it's like, and that's what they're doing for Ireland. And why are you trying to slam these people? Like,
we both live in London. We're both, you know, paying English taxpayers' money. So I think the art is for everyone, and I think there should be no one that's, you know, it's just pigeonholed. However, on the flip side, I think some of these things, especially when they rap Oscailga as well, there's some things intrinsically, you know, unique to the Irish experience, and I think there's just some things that shouldn't be taken away from Irish people because we don't have much. Do you know what I mean? And I think, but then on the flip side, I think it's so good that we're so spread so far and wide, you know, and then we get to spread our message and our music and our art for a British audience or an American audience or, you know, everyone. I think, yeah, Kneecap is for everyone.
I don't think it's that only Irish people view it or agree with Kneecap. I think in general the UK is quite a you know, they're quite a well-informed you know, populace, and for sure I think that a lot of them would agree with what Kneecap has to say. So I think it's probably a smaller you know, powerful minority that's able to kind of press these charges towards Kneecap and stuff like that. So I don't really think it's a case that, you know, just because I'm Irish in the UK that you know, I'm kind of an outsider to what the general, you know, population agree is the right thing. So I think, yeah, in general, a lot of people here agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, just to harp on that, like they're just speaking a great message, and I think the popularity of Kneecap extends past Irish people at this stage. And yeah, there's a certain element of, like, if you're like the Fontaines as well, that it's kind of Irish music is popular in England at the moment, and I think the message that Kneecap are sharing about what's happened in Ireland in the past, what's happening at the moment in Palestine, is just, they're doing a great job of sharing it and making it public. And I think a lot of people, the UK do a terrible job in their school system talking about the troubles and what's happened in Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, and that's appalling that they do that. Like the Kneecap movie came out last year, did amazing, and people are just more exposed now, and I think they really are doing a great job of using their platform for better, and I really respect them for it. So yeah, I just love them. Big fans.